When you think about horror, you think about the worst ways on how to do it. Sometimes the best car movies can sometimes portray heroes, but at sometimes when it comes to horror thrillers and supernatural phenomenons, there are some cars that are purely driven by something purely evil, something strange, something that doesn't fit right with society, and the next it comes back to you, only to make you feel scared, only makes you inevitable. When Steven Spielberg released Duel in 1971, it just makes the horror genre work for killer cars. And it just so to be happening right now, 2001, every 23rd days of spring, every 23rd week, it gets to eat. And that something is something no one could ever really understand, and that is the creeper. The creeper is a humanoid creature with bat-like wings. It needs to eat. But what does it eat? It doesn't eat normal food. It eats human bodies. And what the creeper drove is something quite unimaginable terror, and that is a rusted out 1941 Chevrolet cab-over engine van. Today we are diving into the lore of this creepy vehicle of Jeepers Creepers. So what exactly is the Jeepers Creepers van? Let me explain. The Jeepers Creepers van, also known as the Creeper van, is a beat up jalopy 1941 Chevrolet cab-over engine van. Yes, it's an old van from a very, very early era, in the early 1940s. When Chevrolet made this truck in the 1940s and 50s, it was just meant to produce for farmers and markets worldwide. But however, in 2001, it gets to be used as a vehicle for the creeper. Why? Because the way how it stands out onto the open fields on an empty stretch of road, it just makes it feel terrifying, something unsettling, something weird, something that it never seems to compare itself. The mysterious biology of this van is undeniably creepy. It's terrifying. The Chevrolet cab-over engine vehicle was the very truck that the creeper drove, but for others, it wasn't really a truck. It was a van. Why? Because due to its length, it doesn't seem to be as big as a truck, because the length between the wheels and the front and back make it just look like a van. Why? Because most vans of the era are really short wheelbase, but sometimes are long wheelbase. But the Jeepers Creepers van, that was the opposite of what it is. It's not a large van, it's just a short wheelbase van. Let me explain it. The Jeepers Creepers van is described as a 1941 Chevrolet cab-over engine vehicle, which ironically means it's a Chevrolet COE configuration. This type of vehicle was used for farmers who sit above the motor, just about above everything. And in fact, the colossal choice of this vehicle being used for the creeper is undeniably terrifying. There's more creepiness that regards that to the story. The Chevrolet used by the creeper is far more worse than you could ever imagine. Imagine this, driving down the country road, and then suddenly you see this beat up bucket of bolts of steel and iron roaring just close to you in your rearview mirror. And when you see it, it's over. You know something is wrong. That van should have existed. There's another creepy detail about this van that no one has ever completely learned about. It's bulletproof. It can reach speeds compared to a moderate vehicle of the era. And imagine this, if it was 2001, April 23rd, and then the creeper's van suddenly sneaks up behind you and blasts a undeniably ear deafening horn sound, very rustic, very aggressive, something that doesn't speak in a normal human voice. And that voice is the truck. Another strange thing about the Jeepers Creepers van is, although this thing is literally the size of a van, it's not considered to be purely as a truck. Because at some point, most viewers thought the length was really a truck, but due to its sheer height, it definitely describes the whole profile as a truck. But the sides, that was described as a van. Another strange anomaly about this van is that in the third movie, we all knew something that mostly speaks of unsolved mystery. When the creeper stands on top of the roof of the vehicle, it's actually revealed that the van can drive itself, with the creeper standing right on it. But this is likely obscure. In the third movie, we also noticed that the truck was bulletproof, being able to fling bullets back into its targets when they open fire. And the next strange thing is, this van is full of armaments, such as grenades popping out of the rear tailpipe, the doors having bars pop out, and a harpoon blasting from the inside door of the cab. That is something far more strange. This van wasn't just supernatural, it is unbelievably mechanical. Its menace. Its obscure structure just makes it more terrifying. But what do those words mean? Does the creeper know how to operate the vehicle by not even touching it? This is bilateral sense because in the Jeepers Creepers universe, we all know one thing. The creeper only subsides for every 23rd days, every 23rd weeks. But that could mean something else. What if the truck was the creeper? Yes, I'm telling you this. The same physical appearance of the creeper matches that same anomaly with the truck. Here's another strange fact about the Jeepers Creepers van. The Jeepers Creepers van has a vanity plate called BEATNGU. Imagine that. Can you even spell that right? Beating you. But take a closer look again. Read the license plate very closely. It says be eating you. That means one thing. The creeper is not saying I am beating you. I am going to be eating you. That means one thing. The creeper wants to make sure that he would scare someone in order to make it feel hungry. And that hunger just goes to show how much the license plate could mean on this truck. However, there is a subvision of the plot itself. The Jeepers Creepers van is revealed to drive a lot faster like our cars of this era, but this is actually false. A truck like that from 1941 couldn't possibly reach 130 kilometers per hour unless this truck was defying physics itself. Although the creeper may not be particularly human, it knows intelligence. It knows mechanical mastery. And how does it know how to drive? Did the creeper ever practice that every 23rd days? Well, it's mostly unknown how he was able to drive the vehicle with such precision and such speed. Being able to travel with it at 130 kilometers per hour is nearly impossible. But what happens exactly in Jeepers Creepers 2? Was the truck not even shown? Well, in an obvious guess, it would be likely that the truck was parked hidden somewhere around the area at that time. And what we know for sure is that the Jeepers Creepers van, it doesn't really physically do much physical harm. The only physical harm it ever does was hit other vehicles just by proving its sheer potential of presence. And from what I can obviously discuss about the Jeepers Creepers van is that despite being an old vehicle, it is not possible for this vehicle to exceed speed limits above 50 or likely 60. It's very impossible for this truck to do those kinds of things when it's that really old. Although most of us really know that the Jeepers Creepers main villain, played by Jonathan Breck, can actually fly, the Jeepers Creepers van is a different type of transportation. It's not just transportation, it's menace. It's a rolling death trap, literally. If this thing fires a grenade from its tailpipe or shot you with a slice and dice of its spear from the driver's side door and the bars dropping down from the bed of the truck could just mean one thing. This truck doesn't just become a vehicle, it becomes some kind of mobile force of evil. That's something that operates without biological reason. It's natural. Super natural. No pun intended. The truck itself was completely armed and bulletproof. What this vehicle never tells you is that it hides secrets. Secrets that were not meant to be found. Secrets were never supposed to be explained. And that is the story of how Jeepers Creepers made this van a living legend. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you go comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!